Hello everyone, welcome to the K-pop stream. I promised I was going to start off with the guitar, right? Hang on. Here's the guitar. Alright, done. It's good to be back once again. I'm not really warmed up. Haven't been playing. But I'm just going to play a little bit just to give you guys a bit of Wonderwall. I can do it. Don't tempt me. I might play the whole thing. I might start singing. Could be ugly. It was about a tune. One thing that's worse than Wonderwall is out of tune Wonderwall. Someone asked me a little while ago about on the Ask FM about using your thumb over the top of the guitar neck to actually play songs, and yeah, it's a really common thing. I used to do it because I used to see Jimi Hendrix do it a bit, and that's where I picked it up from. So you can do D like that. You can do D with an F sharp bass like this. That's easier, I think, than doing it that way. So I think it's a really useful technique, and it's one of the reasons why I don't like the idea of teaching guitar out of books, because books will tell you that you must always have your hand like this, and you must have your thumb on the back of the neck like that, right? And that's supposed to be textbook technique, and they say don't do this, don't move your thumb up. But there are so many guitar players who are really good who play with their thumb up all the time, and who use it for fretting different things. You can do D minor with an F sharp, F bass like that. That's really useful. D with an F sharp. C with the G bass like that. So it is a useful technique to have. I would recommend messing around with your thumb over the top of the neck. It works really well, especially if you've got a fairly thin neck. Anyway, that's your guitar tip for today. Use your thumb, it's fun. Also do jazz chords like that. This sort of chord, the A minor 7 chord, or G sharp minor 7, whatever, that sort of jazz chord. Instead of having this one and these three, you can have these three like that, and you can hook your thumb over, or like this, and you can get the same sort of sound. So that's another way to do those jazz chords, right? Anyway, yeah, good morning, Kurt, how you going? Hello, Archberry. Hello to all you lurkers. Good to be here. I'm going to talk about some stuff. Let's start off with stream questions. We'll have a look at those. Stream questions. What do we got? Do you agree with his take? Okay, what's his take? That's quite funny. If you get caught masturbating and you stop, then you're the guy who got caught. But if you keep going, then the guy who caught you becomes gay for watching. Success is all about finding the hidden advantage in a negative situation. That's lovely. Diana Krall's guitarist is really bloody good, actually. You'd be probably surprised that I know that, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the dude, the boss of my music studio, he had done a chorale video that he'd play every now and again in the waiting room, and I used to like watching that because the guitarist was really good. And I mean, I don't really like doing a chorale, just that sort of elevated jazz, really boring. But the guitar player guy made it worth watching because he was just outstandingly good. Yeah, I don't. He didn't have an afro when I was watching him. It was maybe it's a different dude, or maybe. But then I'm sure she only hires someone of that stature is only going to hire the best people anyway. So whoever it is what she's doing here legal? Oh, this is about Yeomin using Tiara's Bo Peep to start the song. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she doesn't care. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I guess it depends, because it just depends on the legal arrangement between the songwriters of Bo Peep and Tiara and the company as to whether that's legal or not. There might be some sort of usage rights situation going on there, or maybe they just don't care because it's a teaser. Who knows? I don't. You can't really. I can't generalise about it because I'd need to see the paperwork. They consider this to be cultural appropriation. What's your take? It doesn't matter if it's 9 years old. Copyright exists. Oh, live stream request page. Oh, if you want to know where the live stream request page is, if you go to my blog and just go down to the sidebar, and if you're not already on it, you can click on Unha here, and that'll give you the page for live streaming. And if you go down to the bottom of the live streaming, there's a live stream request box, and you can just click request topic, and then you can just put down whatever you want me to address on the stream. There's no point you doing it right now, because you might as well just, if you want me to address something now, you might as well just type it in, and I'll just tell you the answer right now. But if you think of stuff ahead of time, pop it in there, and then every time when I do the stream, usually near the start of the stream, I will look at the box, and I'll look at the answers that people have, the questions that people put in, and I'll go through them all. So if you want me to cover certain types of content, then that's a really great way to make it happen, because I will answer anything. They consider this to be cultural appropriation. What's your take? Okay, so this is Marvel Executive Order, the Iron Fist. So this is about comics or whatever, I suppose. Marvel is like I even care about fucking comics. Marvel's clearly, Alright, so he wore, dressed as Daniel-san from The Karate Kid, and joked he was training with Mr. Miyagi in preparation for hostile fans at the panel. Nothing that excuses the racial insensitivity of this porn. Hang on, isn't Daniel-san a white kid anyway? Isn't that the kind of point that is a white dude learning karate? I mean, yeah, it's a lame plot, but what do you expect? It's Hollywood. Story of Iron Fist is a tired cliche. White man goes to Asia to learn secret mystical oriental arts. Returns to the East where he brands himself as a resident expert Asianish white man. Better at the secret mystical orient arts than even those secret mystical Asians he learned it from. I know you really care. Is it really a racial caricature? Or whatever? I don't know. There's Carlos Ortiz. Fuck you to Asian Americans. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Seems. I don't know. Is this what we really care about? Is this the biggest problem that Asian Americans have? Is some guy dressing up like Karate Kid for a press conference? I mean, isn't it just a gimmick to get people talking? And if you write articles like this, isn't that exactly what hasn't achieved its function of getting people to talk? Yeah, it's kind of lame, but then Hollywood's adaptations of Asian stuff kind of lame anyway, so it's kind of what I would expect. I don't know, I just don't really care. I don't know, as someone with a small hint of Asian background, just don't give a fuck. It's not that interesting. And I mean, and what's wrong with people, like saying, I like Asian culture or whatever? Shouldn't we? I don't know if Asians want their culture to be accepted. Shouldn't they be encouraging people to show an interest in it, rather than complaining when they do and saying this is bad? I remember when I was school, when our racial diversity training or whatever it used to be called was all about experiencing other cultures, and that was meant to be a good thing. I remember when I was in high school, we had some Jamaican guys come to our school, and talk about life in Jamaica, and they did some dreadlock making and stuff like that, and actually encouraged us mainly white Australians to try dreadlocks. And they're like, yeah, you should try it. And then they started talking about, don't stereotype dreadlocks as being dirty because you have to wash them every day for them to look good, and here's how to do it. And and they were being, and so and a few of the white kids tried it, and that was supposed to be good. But nowadays you're not allowed to do that. It's cultural appropriation or whatever, which is silly, I think. Shouldn't experiencing other cultures be a positive thing and be encouraged? If you want white people to be less annoying and white or whatever, then why not have them, experience these things and reinterpret it perhaps in their own way? Maybe they'll reinterpret it slightly wrongly, but, is that really bad? I mean, just like Asians interpret white things slightly wrongly sometimes too. That's not necessarily bad either. I think it's fine. I think cross-cultural exchange is a good thing. So, and I think that actually breaks down racism. And so for people to actually say that that's racist is to me more racist, because it's saying, oh, you shouldn't mess with the other culture unless you're doing it exactly like this. I think that's actually making more racial barriers. I don't know. I mean, it's a shitty comic book adaptation anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's all just people concern themselves about the stupidest shit, If you want to be worried about racism, be worried about actual racism, There's plenty of instances of real racism in the real world that you can be worried about without having to make up stuff and worry about what's happening in some comic book adaptation or what's happening on the media. Worry about racism in your real world. Try and fix that. But people don't want to fix that because it's hard to fix. They'd rather go after this relatively harmless stuff. And, I think they're really just shooting themselves in the foot. So, yeah, that's what I think about that. A guy was recently fired from directing a Disney film for making pedophilic joke tweets. Based on the article below, do you think that his film set would have been OH&S approved? This is from Dangerous.com, which is Milo Yiannopoulos' site, so I'm not expecting a very nuanced view here, but let's have a look. James Gunn bragged about beating up his midget girlfriend for not fitting into a mini fridge. Disturbing now, the leader blog post defied Disney director reveals yet another preoccupation with small people, claiming that he left his illegal midget girlfriend bloodshot and bleeding from 2 days of beatings after she needed to learn a lesson. James Gunn wrote a long blog post in 2010 illustrating with more than a dozen pictures describing how he beat his illegal midget Asian girlfriend. Yeah, okay, does he have a link to the source? Okay, there she is in a box. Who is James Gunn? I don't even know. Why do we care about his midget girlfriend? I'm not sure. And she's kind of cute, actually. Alright. So... seems to me like she's a little bit complicit here, judging by these fairly obviously posed photos. Okay, here we go. Here's our source, archive copy of the post. He has no idea as me is known to go into containers and fit several plastic containers before we even met. Yeah, look, obviously him and her are sort of having a bit of a joke together. I mean, it's not very good writing. It's kind of stupid. He's not very funny. Yes, I don't really beat my girlfriend. Most of you understand I'm joking. I really love my girlfriend. He's even plugging a band. Look, I mean, yeah, it's pretty stupid humour, right? But and I can see why Disney might be a little bit nervous about what he's talking about, but and I don't know why Milo's got the knives out for him. All I can assume is that that's part of Milo's, because I mean this kind of seems like the sort of thing that Milo himself would do. I mean, I could see him making similar. I mean, he's made jokes about similar sorts of things, you know. So, but when someone else does it, who I assume is not politically aligned to him or whatever, then he's gonna get the knives out, right? I'm sure if it was Donald Trump joking about his daughter or something like that in the same way, he'd probably be cool with it. So, yeah, he's look, it's kind of dumb. It's a dumb post, you know. But then it's just some dude who directs a movie. You know, he's not a professional blogger like I am, so can't expect the humour to be too good, folks. So what's that link? Yeah, Stu's a bit weird. He seems a little bit obsessed. But I mean, you know, he just seems to be like someone with a really shitty sense of humour who's got a weird obsession about making jokes about pedophilia. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I don't even know what the yeah, I can see why Disney wouldn't want to hire that dude, because, you know, if they find that it's a bit of a conflict of interest. I mean, Disney's supposed to be child friendly, and you've got some guy with a really dark sense of humour making, you know, jokes about kids. You know, it's not cool. So they're probably like, well, you can't really work for us, and it's fair enough to, you know, I'd be on Disney's side, definitely. I don't know if Milo going after him's got any validity, really, but I can see why Disney wouldn't want to hire him after that, because, they'd be worried that kids might follow him after they see Guardians of the Galaxy, then they might see that stuff, and, it's just going to look bad for Disney's image. And, if you're hired by a corporation who is, part of their whole deal is that they make entertainment for kids, then yeah, you can't really talk like that on the internet. I mean, some of that's pretty extreme. And it's not very funny either. I mean, if you're going to make jokes, at least make them funny. Jesus. Yeah, you can't. I mean, look, I'm the first person to have dark humour, right? And to, but but I'm also careful about. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't make jokes about my workplace, because I wouldn't want to get my workplace in trouble, right? Or I wouldn't want to do anything where there's a conflict. So you've got to think about that stuff. I mean, if you want to make shitty jokes on the internet, then by all means go ahead. But yeah, you should consider your professional standing as well. There's a time and a place, yeah. So, I mean, if it's just me and my girlfriend, we make all sorts of jokes. And, there's jokes that me and her make that I probably wouldn't even write on K-Pop's blog, because it'd just be a bit too extreme, even for that audience. So, yeah, guy's a bit of a douche. Japanese men take out groper insurance against sex pest. Would you buy this if it was available? Let's have a look. Oh, it didn't work. Why not? Should have worked. Oh, hang on. It's because that's coming on the end. Try again. Here we go. Insurance companies reporting sudden run on a policy that protects men falsely accused of groping. That's pretty funny. I doubt it would be an issue. But then who knows? Who knows? I don't know what the situation's like over there, really. But no, I haven't been to Japan. I know the subways are very crowded. So what rehearsals did you get on this test? What's the optical illusion that can help diagnose autism in seconds? No, not really. I don't really have any desire to go to Japan. I mean, if I find myself going there for professional reasons, I would. Player error, geo-restricted. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to work. Sorry, it's geo-restricted. Yeah, sorry. It doesn't work for me. Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. If you can find a link that actually works, then I'm happy to give it a shot. Alright, so let's just talk quickly about my posts and stuff. Yeah, Creamo, I got Curie Doodles to do a new header for me, and she did a great job too. Really, really impressed. Curie Doodles does a lot of really cool art. I mean, she doesn't know this, but I've actually been following her art for years because, people who are Tiara fans who I'm friends with on Twitter will occasionally repost her art and stuff like that. And so after a while I was thinking with Curie Mole, do I really want to keep using Curie's images on Instagram? And then I thought, well, who would be good? And I thought, well, she'd be really good at it. She'd do something cool. So I paid her a bunch of money to do that. Header. And it's great. Looks good. So I'm just going to keep using this header from now on and maybe do slightly different versions of it. And there's a video here where you can see her doing all the colorizing. She'd already done most of the drawing. So yeah, watch that. It's pretty cool. And and it's a really good quality fan art that she does, I think. So you should be, if you want fan art, get her to do it. She'll do a good job. Just give her a bit of cash and it's all good. Probably don't need to go through any of my Curie Mole questions and answers. It's all written there. The other post I did this week was the one about bread tags. And just comparing different members of Luna to different bread tags. And I got that idea because I stumbled across this site here, which is a bread tag research site, which is really, really funny. It's such a good site, where they've obviously someone who's a very extreme bread tag collector has, scientifically categorized all these different bread tags. And so I stumbled across this site quite some time ago, maybe a year ago, maybe more, and I just sort of kept it in my memory. So when people started posting about Luna and the 12 members of Luna coming out, there were all these posts that were coming out on my Twitter feed, people comparing it to like tarot cards, Pokemon, and just everything you can imagine. Here's Luna as this, here's Luna as that. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to do something like that as well, but just make it about something really mundane and ordinary, because this fits very much into the way I write in general about idols, because so much of fan culture is all about getting idols and sort of putting them on a pedestal and making them really sort of special and they're so amazing and all that, and they're so beautiful and all that sort of stuff. Whereas a lot of my writing's about just sort of cutting that back and saying, look, they're just people and it's just a business and here's how it actually works. So for me comparing the Luna Girls to something that's fairly ordinary is just a really good way of saying, look, they're just ordinary people, right? That's kind of the subtext of it. But at the same time, it also promotes Luna too. So if you're a Luna fan, you can still look at this and laugh and get something out of it. And I did my best to sort of try and pick the best bread tag for the situation. And I think, and hopefully people get the point. It's kind of another way of saying what I'm trying to say with a lot of my posts, which is that, people spend, it's a good picture of Hunjin, isn't it? That people spend far too much time worrying about, idol attractiveness and all this sort of stuff. And, which is, people keep asking me all the time about the point of my boobs posts. That was in Curie Mole. And I can't find it quickly. Yeah, what even is the subtext of your big boobs articles? And I advise this question asker they should get together with the students here in this comic who are wondering about it. And here's basically they sort of get sort of warm here. Look, anyone who looks at my boobs posts and thinks they're really there for people to jack off to is not really understanding why I write that stuff. It should be fairly obvious that I'm trying to do something a little bit different, and it's that should be fairly obvious. You shouldn't be that thick that if you were someone who was looking for K-pop girls to have a wank to and you found my boobs post, I think you'd actually be quite disappointed, and that's deliberate, right? Because just like with the bread tags post, with the post about the boobs, I'm really not talking about most of it's not, oh wow, she's so attractive or whatever. Most of it's just talking about presentation and about how companies are presenting their idols. And a lot of that's just sort of going whoosh right over people's heads because it's presented as a fat post, even though it's really not exactly that sort of thing. And a lot of it just feeds into the general idea that cuts through a lot of my writing, which is that people just make too much fuss about stuff which is either not that important or things that the companies want you to make a fuss about that you really shouldn't, if you've got any sense. And so people, I've had people get upset about the contents of the boobs post, saying, when I had Luna's cherry in there, that lost me a few readers because they're like, oh, she's so young, what's she doing in there? But if you actually read the text that I wrote in there, none of it was saying, oh, wow, she's so hot, or anything like that. It was just about, this is how this company is presenting this idol. Even though she's not that busty, they're presenting her in this overly sexualized way. And it was actually just pointing out that, she's being overly sexualized. And that really upset people who thought, oh, you're not allowed to say that. But then they were mad at me for pointing it out when they really should have been mad at Blockberry for putting her in that stuff in the first place. And that's why she was there, and so many people didn't understand that. I ended up removing that whole section from that post because it got to the point where I was just getting like one email a day from some idiotic Luna fan who didn't get it, that I was actually trying to highlight a problem. So I just thought, fuck it, give up on that shit. Some things people were just not smart enough to get. So anyway, this post here is all about that once again. It's about saying, you don't need to get all caught up in idol appearances. It's not that big a deal. And, companies are trying to sell them in this sort of bizarre way. But, you don't have to go along with it. You can just say, well, I think this is a bit weird. And it is a bit weird. And by making the juxtaposition between that and bread tags, it just shows you how weird it is. And how your brain's being strung along. So I hope that's clear. I think it's clear to some people without me having to even talk about it. And I think there are a lot of other people who will probably never get it, no matter how much I talk about it. And, that's fine, I guess. Not everyone's going to understand. It's a shame that some people would think the wrong thing or they don't quite understand it. But, it's not for me to, if people don't get it and they're annoyed by it, then that's probably not such a bad thing. Because, annoying stupid people is, not necessarily bad. But I also hope that this sort of content helps people get a bit smarter and a bit more critical about what they look at. And underneath all the humour is me trying to sort of help people to think critically about K-pop in all sorts of ways. And this post is a big part of that. It's actually... If you read this post and you kind of liked it, if you're a Luna fan and you read this post and you kind of liked it, but you're also kind of a little bit bothered by it, then congratulations, because you sort of starting to understand why I wrote it. Because I'm, because I'm all for saying, I like a group or whatever, and Luna have got some good songs, there's no reason not to like them. But I think getting too involved in the whole fandom culture is really dangerous. And this sort of stuff, the boobs post sort of stuff, a lot of the other stuff I write is just kind of a way to sort of, getting you to snap out of that whole being led by the Pied Piper down into the river of crazy fandom culture. And that's a message which some people really get and some people really don't get. And if you don't get it, I probably can't do much for you. But you'll probably get it one day. And for those who do get it, then I hope they enjoy that sort of content. I think there's some push-up going on, but who knows? Who knows? Who cares, really? That's all I've really got to say for this week. I'm going to go watch the OPL, League of Legends now, and watch the Australian teams fight each other. And it doesn't matter who wins, they'll get knocked out in the World Championship anyway, in the first round, I'm sure. But thank you for watching. It's been good as usual, and I haven't really looked at Asian Junkie. I should probably just do that real quick, right? Just see what's going on in the news. Are you singing a good day at someone's wedding? I'm sure I've seen that years ago. She might have done that more than once. Hidden cameras. Yeah, for those who don't know, Leisha found out that there was a bunch of hidden cameras in their dorms. That's not good. I mean, I don't, people probably wondered, because I'm a bit of a pervert, would I think that was a good thing? But no, I mean, I think, hidden cameras is not cool. I mean, if girls want to, show themselves on camera, then I think that's good, but I think it should be consensual. If I was a stripper, I'd want to know that there was a camera there, right? I wouldn't want someone just filming me randomly. Not much else is happening. Yeah, except this Produce 48 stuff, which is still filling up my feed a lot, but I don't really care about it. I'm waiting for... Let's see if we get a feature track with a video, then I'll start caring. Everything is terrible. I don't know. Why he follows these shows, I don't know. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Not much is happening. I'll be back next week with more streams. Drop some stream questions in if you want to see me address anything in particular. I certainly don't mind. And there'll be some more posts coming up this week. After Roundup, I don't know what yet. I haven't even drafted anything at this point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And yeah, thanks as always to all you people who read and come on the streams with me and also just support my writing in general. I'm very appreciative of it. Very appreciative. And yeah, have a good week. And I'll be back next week.